"Say nothing," said Uncle Tunde. "It's safer for everyone that way." They needed passports, quickly, and Uncle Tunde was setting out that very day to find how they could get them, in secret. Sade and Femi did not have passports, and the police had seized Papa's only a month ago. Just a few hours before Papa had been due to leave for the airport, 6 strapping policemen had stormed into their house. They had pushed their way into their parents' bedroom. Sade had been helping Papa pack his bag. He had been telling her about the conference. People from many different countries were going to discuss human rights and whether their governments treated people fairly. The uninvited policemen had surrounded them like a swarm of giant locusts. One had tipped all the contents of the carefully packed suitcase onto the bed, including the shirt Sade had helped to fold. Another had snatched papers from a bedside table. Another had demanded her father's passport. Uncle Tunde insisted on going by himself. Under no circumstances was Papa to leave the house. Papa and the children were also to keep away from the front yard. It was unlikely the gunmen would return with so many people around, but who could be sure? Everything was so unreal, including Uncle Tunde, always the cautious lawyer, setting out on a mission to acquire false passports that could take them out of the country. "But I have to tell Coley, he's my best friend," Femi complained to Sade after Uncle Tunde had driven off. They were alone in the back compound, standing between the lofty pawpaw trees that Femi used for one of his goals. At the far end of the yard, 2 flaming forest trees formed the opposite goal under an umbrella of fiery red flowers. Kicking a pebble towards a clump of lemongrass, Femi raised a small spray of dust. "You can't, don't you understand what Uncle Tunde said? But Coley can keep a secret. Look, even Mama Buki doesn't know yet. If Uncle Tunde gets caught, he's in big trouble. You heard him." "I don't want to go to London," whined Femi. Sade sighed. She was trying hard not to let herself think too much. After those great sobs had subsided earlier, her mind had become almost numb. Everything was happening too quickly. She did not want to hear Femi's complaints because she did not dare let herself think about everyone and everything she would have to leave. It was too much. She ached to hear Mama's voice calling them, to see Mama appear at the back door with her warm smile and welcoming eyes. Mama who would reassure them when they were sad or frightened. Mama who would remain calm and upright even that time when the police took Papa away. "Come to the kitchen," Sade said abruptly, although she did not feel like eating. "I'm sure Mama Buki is making something." Femi scowled and shrugged his shoulders. "Leave me alone." When Uncle Tunde returned some hours later in the afternoon, he headed straight for the study with their father. A few minutes later, he invited in the children. "I've told your father that it's going to take a little time to get him a good passport. It will also be safer if he travels on his own." Uncle Tunde gazed down at his gold-rimmed spectacles dangling from his right thumb and finger. He seemed to be thinking about how to continue. "However, by God's grace, there is a lady going to London who is prepared to take you as her children." Sade and Femi stared, not understanding. "Her name is Mrs. Bankole. She has a British passport with a girl and boy on it, just the right ages for you both, but they aren't travelling with her. She has agreed to say you are her children and also to take you to your Uncle Deli." Uncle Tunde was expecting them to go along with a lie. Both children turned anxiously to Papa. "But she's not our mother." Femi's face was contorted. Their father closed his eyes. When they opened, they wavered unsteadily, as if hurt by the light. "Of course I want us to travel together," he began, "but these people your uncle met know much more than I do about this." He hesitated, looking from Femi to Sade. "This business of getting out of the country. And the main thing, the most important thing, is that we all end up safely together in London. We can't afford to miss this chance to get you out safely. We don't have much choice, and we certainly don't have much time." Uncle Tunde no longer hid his agitation. I was told it's usually very hard to get the right passport for a child, and here we have the chance to get the two of you out together. You must realise that we were only doing this because those people who killed your dear Mama will stop at nothing." Shadi bit her lip. She and Femi were already swinging as loosely as Uncle Tunde's glasses. "So when do we have to go?" Uncle Tunde and Papa glanced at each other to see who would answer. "Tonight," their father said very quietly.